All right, David, can I go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let me introduce you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our next session in the 21 Indispensable Qualities of Leadership. Our guest speaker today is Dr. Amy Patillo. Amy is the Workforce Development Specialist with MU Extension. She's headquartered in Greene County, actually, and her work, she works across the state to coordinate the university's high priority commitments and identifies projects where Extension can help grow Missouri's workforce. It's a pleasure to work with Amy. She has a wealth of experience. She has bachelor's and master's degrees from Missouri State University. And she has a specialist degree and an educational administration and leadership doctorate from St. Louis University. So Dr. Amy Patillo is our guest speaker today on the subject of passion. So let's get started.
Thank you, David, for such a warm welcome. And David is going to start us off with a poll. There it is. So when given an opportunity, are you more likely to? And you have 4 choices. And I wanted to start off with a short introduction to let you know that I've been looking forward to our time together. This is unprecedented times. It's times of crisis and concern. And at MU Extension, we care for you. We worry about you. And I know for myself for sure, and for the colleagues that I speak with every day, that you're always on our minds. In fact, that's the reason that we're sharing this leadership series with you, is because we want to encourage you and we want to help you. We hope that it will help you be better for yourself and for your family, and that it will help you serve your teams in your community. So I want to thank you for coming today, and we're going to share insights with you on passion from our series on leadership with John Maxwell. So let's look at the poll results. What did they have to say? When given an opportunity, are you more likely to? Oh, this is wonderful for a group to say that they're going to step forward and put themselves out there. So the majority of us are going to step forward and put ourselves out there. Some of us are going to step back and retreat, which we know that there's times when we need to step back and retreat as well. Think about things and work through things. I'm probably more, it's all about the moment. It depends on the situation, where I'm at, what the topic is. If I'm feeling like it's a safe environment to step forward, and then I am encouraged to see that I'm always late to the game because I didn't want to come. And David knows that that's the most recent book that I was reading in January and February, is a book that trying to step outside myself and be more encouraging for others, because most often I'm an introvert and I don't want to be there anyway. So I really have to put myself out there sometimes, but I'm glad to see that you all didn't. So we're going to go on, and we'll have another poll coming soon. For Maxwell, he says, the difference is in one's passion. That passion can make you better. It's the difference between stepping forward and stepping back, standing up or sitting down. Is it a fact that the person that steps forward and stands up knows more than the one that retreats and steps back? Sometimes that it can be perceived that way, but no, that's not true. These people are considered by Maxwell to be more passionate. And being more passionate, Maxwell says, can make you better. So my passion is living in the moment. My words of advice, since it's my show today, is to live like somebody left the gate open. We have a retired Extension colleague that many of you will know. Her name is Nellie Lammers. And one of my child's fondest memories is of a farm sign on her gate. And the sign says, no matter what the cow tells you, don't open the gate. Sure. Many of us have lived it. That's why we know it's more difficult to round up the cows and get them back in the fence than it would have been to just close the gate in the first place. And if you grew up on a farm, I'm sure as children you were told to close the gate, because many of us are not good at closing the gate. The cow takes the opportunity to live life to its fullest. As soon as they notice the gate is open, you can see it in their eyes. The second they realize that gate is open, it's that stare they get, the way they look at the open gate. And then suddenly it's like they're lit on fire when they see the opportunity to get out. this is a great example of stepping forward and making the most of an opportunity. So let's go on with another poll. In the next poll, would you embrace your passion and step up to the opportunity? What does that look like for you? Embracing your passion. How are we doing, David, with responses?
We're slow coming in. Those are long descriptions. Takes a little while to read those.
So will you embrace your passion and step up to the opportunity? For some of us on this call, it sounds like passion comes naturally to you and that maybe you're willing to lead even when nobody follows. Hopefully, after today, if you have trouble stepping forward, you won't want to miss your potential and that you'll be more likely to step forward and be bolder in the future. Or for you, passion may be being encouraged to seize the opportunity. And maybe you're not the first in line to step up and step forward, but you'd be willing to step up and step forward. Or maybe your passion is more of an internal thing and that you like to do it on your own when no one's watching. Let's see what they said. 34% of us are natural leaders and passion comes natural to us. 33% said that you prefer to give yourself time to think, and I'm more like that as well. But I'm happy to see that we did have some responses that passion's more of an internal thing for you and that you like to do it on your own when no one's watching. And that's perfectly fine. I love that in the chat, Karen said, the gate's open, let's go. Me too. I'm right there with you. I'll follow you through the gate. So the moment that I back down or sit down or that I retreat and I lose the potential of that moment is when I recognize that nobody ever retreated or pulled back and got better. There are times in life when we need to retreat. We pull back and we give ourselves some time to think through things. However, if an individual is always pulling back and retreating from every adventure and every opportunity or every challenge before them, they will never maximize themselves or maximize that opportunity. And Maxwell says that's a fact. What is it that causes a person to go forward and to be pulled? Is it because they are passionate? Being passionate is believing in what you're doing, being willing to stand alone, and be willing to go alone. Maxwell in chapter 12 sees passion as the first step to an achievement. Passion increases your willpower. Passion changes you, and passion makes the impossible possible. So think about the people in your life that are passionate. They may be passionate about reading, painting, sports, possibly video games. People that are passionate engage others. They lead others, and others are willing to follow them. Can we teach passion? Let's think about this quote from Ferdinand Foch. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. When I think about passion, I think of someone who believes, someone who has an idea that they're willing to share and they're willing to pursue, or a thought that they live every day. In Maxwell's chapter, he refers to John Schneider. He's the owner and founder of Papa John's Pizza. And Maxwell refers to him as pizza sauce in his blood. Now that's somebody that has a passion. Maxwell says that John lives Papa John's pizza every single day. So your challenge is to enjoy what you're passionate about, just like John Schneider does. All right, let's take a look at another poll. What does your passion look like? Some of us find our passion by giving ourselves time and solitude to figure things out. That's when the real passion comes to us. Others find their passion because they're enjoying something so much that they lose track of time. Maybe your passion is that you would talk about it for hours and it wakes you up in the morning because you're so passionate about it. Maybe your passion is something that you learned as a child and it's something that you love to do. And my favorite is that my passion often occurs so boldly in my life that I forget to eat and pee. And I think I see that in my colleagues as well, that we forget to eat lunch. We forget to take care of our own personal needs because we are so passionate about the work we do. All right, what do they have to say, David?
All right.
I'm not the only one that forgets to eat and pee. That's good news. So 45% of the people said, I enjoy something so much that I lose track of time. And that's good. Your challenge is to enjoy your passion and do what you love. So there are many leaders who don't lead anybody. Nobody has been following them, but to them, it doesn't matter. They had to go out there themselves and make sure that what they thought was true. And so off they went. In their passion, they went out and found what they were looking for. Passionate people don't know more than people that are more reticent. They're just more passionate about what they know. Maxwell points out that experts spend a lot of time trying to figure out what makes people successful. They often look at a person's credentials, their intelligence, education, and other factors. But more than anything else, passion makes the difference. Nothing can take the place of passion in a leader's life. That's what makes them different. Leaders are successful because they love their work. So in the chat box, name someone that displays passion and what their passion is.
Well, I'm going to need a second to think about that, Amy. That's a tough question.
It is a tough question, and I was so excited to share some of the people that have passion in their life and how they've demonstrated that in relation to leadership. So I'm interested to see what the group has. Who is someone that you know from your childhood, from your past, currently people in your life that have passion, and what is their passion? So Stacy says, my pastor Kent. He is passionate about the Holy Bible. And I don't know if you know it or not, but Dr. John Maxwell went into the leadership of ministry. And so he's a godly man, and he shares that as part of his leadership series. There's a Minute with Maxwell that you can watch on YouTube, and he often talks about his spirituality and how that has impacted leadership for him. Whoops, the chat went away from me so quickly. I didn't get to read it.
Oh,
Jackie Warfeld for local history. Jackie's a popular name in her area. A coworker is passionate about dog rescue. My neighbor does good for so many and does most of it anonymously. And as you travel around the United States, if you look at local history, there are stories of people and communities that care so much and do so much for people, but often they do it anonymously. And even after they pass away, people don't know who it was that was doing it. Teachers, they always teach, even when pay is not sufficient, because teaching and learning is their passion. Passionate about improving others' lives, local volunteers giving their time. This person's passion is learning. Dave Beckner, Hidden Waters in Marshfield. Bill Sherman lives and breathes one-room school history all over the nation. Joe Clark, the former principal of the Eastside High in Paterson, New Jersey. The movie Lean on Me was based on his life. So I wanted to share with you that when I reminisce about the life of a passionate leader, I remember watching Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign. And even though I was a child, I remember much of Reagan's presidency. President Reagan is known as the great communicator. And he said, the most important thing is to have the vision, not a vision, it's to have the vision. The next is to grasp and hold it. You must see and feel what you're thinking, and you must see it and grasp it. You may not know that long before Ronald Reagan entered politics, he served as a highly effective labor negotiator. He learned to fight hard for the interest of those he represented, and he knew when to accept a compromise that would be in everyone's interest. When he was unable to achieve all of his announced goals, this is my favorite part. He would frame the ultimate agreement. He wouldn't just frame an agreement that we could agree on. He would frame the ultimate agreement in a way that would enable him to return for additional concessions in the future. And that's the hope of every labor negotiator that we know, is that we can return for additional concessions in the future. Reagan said, "I learned while negotiating union contracts that you seldom got everything you asked for." And I agreed with FDR, who said in 1933, "I have no expectations of making a hit every time I come to bat. What I seek is the highest batting average." Reagan strove to find areas of common ground. He was skilled at building alliances. This included locating shared interest or concerns with people and organizations who might otherwise be viewed as in opposition. He didn't hesitate to reach out to those who became Reagan Democrats. So too, he made a point of working with members of his own Republican Party who were not 100% Reagan Republicans. The Reagan administration cobbled together an unlikely set of allies in its efforts to turn the tide of the Cold War against the Soviet Union. Then, remarkably, Reagan and Soviet leader Gorbachev moved from the Cold War to cooperation. And Reagan is known as saying, "Somebody who agrees with me 80% of the time is a friend and an ally, not a 20% traitor." Reagan's use of humor was legendary. He often used it to disarm critics with a gentle but a lethal touch. So, what are you passionate about? I know we talked about people that demonstrated passionate leadership in your life, and some of you shared personally what you are passionate about, but what is it that you're passionate about? Put it in chat. What are you willing to step up and step out? And to go it alone when maybe nobody's willing to follow you?
Amy, I think this, the word passion is somewhat loaded, as we were talking about earlier. It has other connotations as well. And so sometimes it's good to think about synonyms. And are there some synonyms that you're thinking of that relate to passion and leadership? I mean, first one that comes to my mind is enthusiasm. Is that the same type of thing? And maybe are there some other examples as well?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. Do people have other synonyms or examples of passion they'd like to share? One that came in that I missed was my mother-in-law. And then when people ask a question or have a need and ask, who should I contact about that? The guess would be the first person they contact is someone who has a passion for that, someone who would know. So maybe it's a knowledge. Sparking creativity in youth.
I see the word spark. That reminds me of one community where there's an individual. It's called he's referred to as the community spark plug. He's the person that gets things done, the community spark plug. He has passion and zeal. I see the word zeal. So maybe some of those other words may help us think of some examples.
Yeah, positive energy and environment. Empowering the next generation, empowering and engaging, those are powerful words. The next generation of law enforcement professionals and leaders. There's spark again, helping youth find their spark. Helping others live healthier and happier. Also living more and giving more. Being passionate about our environment. Treating it well. Designing and responsibly, designing responsibly. Age-appropriate learning for preschoolers. Educating others to help our pollinators. Gardening, I volunteer at Joplin Parks to help the crew. And Jackie says she's passionate about making a difference. So whatever you're, go ahead.
Go ahead. So if you're passionate about something, what, yeah, I think you alluded to this in one of the polls. What does that look like? How do you know if you're really passionate about something? You lose sleep over it, or you dream about it? Is that, or just that you have enough interest to read books about the subject, to talk to other people about it?
I love that sometimes I'm so excited and so passionate about the work that we do Extension that I have trouble going to sleep at night because it's on my mind and I'm so excited about it. And when I wake up in the morning, I have that excitement still, and that's passion for me. I also notice in my own life that I can have many different passions. It's not just one. And sometimes my passions change. You know, it's not that I still am not fired up and in love with what I was doing, but just different parts of your life and the changes of your life, maybe career changes, influence your passion differently.
And that's different than being stressed out about it, so to the point that you can't go to sleep. This is generally a positive thing. I saw one of the comments in here, Christine, saying, I'm passionate about age-appropriate learning for preschoolers. And I know she manages a preschool. So she probably, you know, reads about the subject, gets additional training about the subject, talks to parents of preschoolers. You know, it's something that she hovers around in a lot of different ways because she's excited about it. She has an enthusiasm for it.
And someone says energizes. Energy is a great word for passion. When you're passionate about something, you have an energy to do it. You have the will to do it. You have that energizes you. I think that's a great description of passion. Food and teaching students and adults about healthy eating. Good thing that's my job. Maybe that's a great statement that our passions do lead us down a specific career path because that's what we love to do. I'm a master naturalist and volunteered and created several pollinator gardens in public spaces. Passion equals caring. Here's another one from Mary. What I'm passionate about typically gives me energy. Stacy said energy. And Mary is referring kind of back to David said, passion isn't draining. Passion is positive. It's something that we're excited to do, that we have energy to do. I think we have some really passionate people on our call today. So whatever you're passionate about, it's that you're willing to step up and step out. What you will discover is, it is on your journey that you make your greatest discoveries. That nobody ever makes great discoveries by sitting and waiting. Walking and finding is where they find them. And that's what passion does for you. Passion is generally personal, it's unique to that person, and it's what makes us unique. So I'm wrapping up today. I appreciate you attending. I'm glad you're with MU Extension today, and thank you for joining us.
Do you think passion is contagious? Amy,
I don't know who said it, but taking the road less traveled, swimming upstream. Yay for passion in this group. That's great. Well, I think passion does have to be contagious, David, because Maxwell says it makes us better, that people are more willing to follow someone who believes in what they're doing, who has an idea that they can share, who has excitement and energy for what they do.
I have seen that in you before, Amy. You get excited about a subject or a class that's coming up, a program you're doing that isn't on my radar and I have nothing to do with really. But by the time you get done talking about it, I'm thinking, wow, I want to know more about this. And then I end up saying that I'll help and I get overcommitted. So see, you know, that happens too. But, you know, your passion helps to make it contagious and makes others want to get involved with it as well.
Thank you, David. And it's fun to work with people like that. You know, we often gravitate to working with people who are passionate about what they do. And they're fun people to work with. And you're right, listening to them talk, it just draws everyone in around them. And Pam says, yes, attitudes are contagious. Absolutely contagious. And passion can also focus us.
It's a little bit, you know, initiative is one of the topics we covered earlier. You know, you have to take initiative, but initiative combined with passion for the subject would be a really powerful combination. Well,
And Christy says it's easier to learn from someone who is passionate about what they are teaching. That is so true. I'll share with the group that I have a phobia of video. I can stand up in front of people and talk. I could do a podcast. I can write behind my computer. But the moment that I have to be on TV, like Color 10, or be on a Zoom meeting, I forget every word that I had. I can't even think. And it is just almost paralyzing to me. But one of our media specialists at the university said that the way that you get over a fear of video is to focus on how you engage with the people on the other side of that video. And that is really an interesting concept to me, that there is a way and an opportunity for me to engage with the people on the other side of this video. And that takes the focus off of that trauma and anxiety of being on the camera to think about you and how we can best serve you and care for you and take and do for you and give you what you need and encourage. I asked Adrian, who is 95, what kept her young. Well, what was the answer?
It's on down there. Her response was, I try to learn something new probably every day. I try to learn something new.
Well, thank you guys. You are encouraging to me. I appreciate that. I think that when you have a fear about something, that you do work harder to do a better job so you can overcome your own fears.
You know, we are over halfway through the 21 indispensable qualities, and we have some great topics coming up next. For next week, it is positive attitude, problem solving, and relationships. And we have 3 different voices, 3 different guest presenters next week. So you'll get a lot of variety of input on that. Keep up with your reading, and please continue to join us live. I think you get more out of the conversation that way if you're able to do so. We're thrilled to have you here today, and thanks to Dr. Amy Patillo for presenting us today. If you want to stay on and visit or chat, you're welcome to, but otherwise, that concludes today's session.